poetry, radio, verse. It's all about the D. Desire, discipline, dedication. I know what you were thinking, savages, but that ain't it. Let's go.
Hey, this is Lori Beachgrass.
Hi, this is Ophedia. Hi, this is Brinley.
Words Matter is our motto at Lit Up.
Welcome, welcome, and welcome. I am James Hamilton, and this is Versed. Versed is here weekly, shining a light on Midwest poets and artists from what we like to call the hub of Midwest poetry, Rockford, Illinois. The WBOM full-service radio studios are located inside the basement of the Mendelssohn Center for the Performing Arts. With me in the studio, as usual, is cultural reference Savvy Magoo. How you doing today?
This teacher is so excited to be here with the kids you're about to hear from.
Wait, you were a teacher?
Kinda. Like a whole career.
Entrusted to shape young minds.
Oh, don't bring that up. That's a scary thought.
For sure. Listen, I have a feeling today as well. I do. I have a feeling.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
You know me, I'm about energy and all that, but I do not need a fortune teller to tell me a story or flip cards or rub on a crystal ball to tell me the show is going to be unlike any show that we have done this year.
Well,
right?
and I was just out in the green room with Coach Beach and these kids, and they are exciting minds. I know kids. I spent a lot of time around kids. These are some exciting minds.
But as far as putting together like the agenda for the shows,
okay.
It's been, you develop a form after you do a couple of these and you run through them. We've talked about Rick Rubin's book this season. We've talked about, a lot of things. We've done the common thread with the guests that come through, which we don't need to do today, and I'll explain why in a second. But we have guests. And in my best Donald Trump impression, so many guests. So many great guests. So many guests.
No, you're creating a family.
Yeah, right.
I'm not conceding the Donald Trump part.
And definitely not after I say this next word, because we are growing the family. We're growing it exponentially today. And I know he can't say that word, so I know that, my Trump impression sucks. But there we have it. So, and as we have said on this show before, words matter. And we're going to get into that today for sure, because they definitely do. As our regular Versed in WBOM full-service radio listeners know, about this point in the show, I introduce two guests for the week and let them share about themselves. But this week on this show, like I said, we're going to do some things a little different. We're going to keep it fresh.
Yeah, no, a complete hero of yours and mine.
Definitely. So I'm going to introduce that one guest.
Please.
Right now. Lori Beachgrass is an author, poet, musician, and stage performer. For 30 years, she directed the Creative and Performing Arts program at West Middle School while teaching 6th grade English language arts. In 2015, Lori created Lit Up. I call them The Lit Up, but Lit Up. I call them
The Lit Ups.
I do, but my grammar's horrible. So anyway, Lit Up, a Golden Apple Award-winning after-school spoken word poetry club that, despite her retirement from teaching, still continues today. Today, Lit Up consistently create and perform at events in and around the Rockford, Illinois area. Please join me and Paul and all the viewers out there in welcoming the architect of all of that.
Yes.
Lori Beachgrass. Yeah. Welcome, Lori.
How old is she? She must be at least 100 with
she
all
is
of that.
33 years old.
That's exactly right.
That's what she
Prodigy.
looks.
Yeah, definitely. How are you?
Good. I'm excited because these kids get to have their voices heard by just more than whoever attended the open mic.
So
Right.
I wanted to do a lit up show for about 3 weeks now. Paul and I were out in LA and we had thought about this before we got back. But I felt bad because I was like, this was a really good idea. It's such an important program. The kids that are out there performing from this program are some of the best Rockford has to offer. I mean,
Right.
regular listeners of the show know guests come through here, they record their poetry before we do the talk portion of the show.
Right.
And I got to tell you, the stuff that I heard today, you know, Paul, as well as I do, we've had some of the most accomplished poets in the Midwest in this room,
Correct.
in these chairs over these last 12 weeks. And these kids that you're going to talk to or meet tonight, they hold up with all of them.
We have one poet who, by the time this airs, will have been the feature at my open mic. And so many of the guests we've had have been features. I mean, and to be a feature, you have to be a top professional poet. And Lemon deserves to be a feature at a major open mic.
They all do.
Yeah,
They all
Fair
do.
enough.
So the theme of the show is lit up. We're not doing the common thread today, Paul, so there's no stress for you to guess what it is.
Because these all kids all went to school together.
They all went, well, they're all from Lit Up. It is the lit up version of verse.
Can I tell one quick story?
Sure. I mean, you and I have been just sucking air out of the room. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
so just over a year ago when I started doing open mics in Rockford, I'd been retired. I hadn't done poetry for a long time. I came to Inscape, and then I went to the Nordloff. Lit Up was sustaining the open mic scene in Rockford. I mean,
That's the truth.
you guys kept the Nordloff scene going. I mean, that's a valuable
4 years.
open mic and poetry slam.
Yeah.
Angela Hiss just had her 10th anniversary
Right.
as the MC.
Let's just
Yeah,
say
okay.
Nordloff is a theater ran by the Rockford Public Library system, right? It has been going on, I know, for, 10 plus years now. It's a certified competition for spoken word poetry.
Yeah. So the Rockford Certified Slam happens at the Nordloff. People call it the Nordloff. I have since renamed it after its MC, Angela Hiss, and so we now call it Angel's Hiss here in town.
The event.
Yeah.
But Paul has a habit of naming things in Rockford after himself, so I'm surprised we went to just saying.
That's really true.
Radio
That is
listeners
really true.
cannot see my sign language, but it's
Right.
here right now.
Yeah, we figured.
I'm a little bit offended, but not a lot.
Right.
I hope not.
Good.
You'll see it again.
A continual dual, radical ridicule, resonates, reverberates, desecrates, implicates the deliberate act of disrespect, complete neglect. What the actual heck? Clouded primary colors, smattered, muddied, muted, mattered, red, blue. Is it me? Is it you? Is it all false, but somehow somewhat true? We do know what to do, but we don't. I'm so clearly, confidently confused. Paradise found? Not even close, Mr. Milton. The answer, my friend, is blown. We've lost paradise. We did find a pair of dice, but we rolled snake eyes over and over and over. Luck is no lady, not tonight, never, ever more. Clouded colors come together right now, but you're over me as much as I'm over you. Red plus blue makes purple, and nothing rhymes with that. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, Joni sings, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions we recall. Miss Mitchell and I, we really don't know clouds at all.
Let's let Lori tell us a little bit about Lit Up. How did you, sixth grade language arts teacher, love of English, love of performing. I know you well enough to know that you love musicals and theater and all of that. Mm-hmm. So what made you want to go from language art, just talk about that whole process. What made you want to go from language arts teacher to essentially poetry club aficionado and director?
Well, it didn't have a an actual beginning that I said, let's just do this club. So this started with a honors reading assignment that for my 6th grade honors readers. And we had no name or anything yet. And I said to them, we're gonna watch and read the trilogy, I call it, which is Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story, and then Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah.
And we read that. I told them the story of Romeo and Juliet in my words. And after we got through that, you could watch Romeo and Juliet, and it could be in any language, and understand what was going on.
Right.
So we met together as a group after this was done. We pulled out themes of all 3 of those things. And then I said, I just want you to free write about these themes. And the writing was so phenomenal that as we got up and started sharing, I would say, well, yours kind of sounds like his, so let's pair you 2 together. And we kind of paired up. And our presentation, which was on the last day of school for the parents, turned into a reader's theater kind of presentation. And the kids were so excited that they said, Beach, we want to come to your house and do this in the summer. And so that's not going to happen. But we did meet at a park once, actually twice throughout the summer.
So
the
at one
same
point
kids.
you had boundaries.
Well, not a whole lot of them, but yes, there. And so it kind of sparked in me that maybe we should have an after-school thing. Yeah. Well, the basis of all of this is the musical Hamilton. This is where my passion came from, would be the musical Hamilton. And the words lit up mean literature raised. That's what that actually meant then. So we would read pieces of literature and pull out themes and write about them.
So let's pretend for a minute that I'm someone that likes children, okay? And how old are kids when they're in 6th grade?
They are 10 or 11.
So you've got 10 or 11-year-old kids. You're running them through this program. Had you had any experience with spoken word poetry or in the spoken word community before that?
Absolutely zero.
Zero. So we're talking about total organic genesis of something. You're essentially creating it as you go.
No doubt. So when I first heard the musical Hamilton, I said to my husband, we were getting married that year, and I said to him, there's something I'm supposed to do with this. I don't know what it is, but I listened to it nonstop. And on our honeymoon, I listened to it nonstop. And I even have videos of us lip syncing to Hamilton. And I knew that there was something that I was supposed to be doing with this. And in the fall after that year, I went to our principal and said, I really want to have an after-school club, and I want to kind of, read some poetry or read some works of literature and pull themes out. And he said, do you know what you want this club to be based on? And I said, I don't. And he said, could you write me up a proposal? And I said, I can't. I don't know. But I'm not going to ask for pay. I'm just going to stay. And nice. If they want to come. And they did.
So let me ask you this. So the kids that you had, so year 1, you get to the end of the year, you do this thing, you decide you're going to roll through the summer with it. You've got 6th grade kids going on 7th grade. You go back to work in the fall teaching 6th grade. Did the original group of kids stick around, and then did you join that next group from that following year? So is this becoming is it growing at this point?
So at that point, yes. So I taught in the CAPA program, CAPA, which stands for the Creative and Performing Arts program in Rockford, Illinois. Yay. And we were at the middle school level.
West Middle
School. And so our program was umbrellaed under West Middle School, but we had our own, school inside of a school at that point. So I had all of the 6th graders at once. I taught all of the reading, all of the English, all of the honors reading. So I had everybody sometimes twice a day. And so when we started our club, almost every single one of those honors English kids joined that very first lit up season to go around. We read a book called The Firefly Diaries, I do believe. And at that point, I was reading to them. Everybody had a book, but I was reading to them, and they were pulling themes out together. We would write them on huge pieces of paper on the wall, and then they could go home and start writing themes or call each other or whatever, and it just kind of grew. Our first year, we had at the end of the year, probably 12 kids that stayed consistently after school. And at the end of that year, we had our first lit up cafe in my classroom, which we brought in coffee and we brought in cookies and we set up tables with tablecloths and candles and stuff in there. So when the parents came in, they felt like they were in a little cafe. And we had almost 100 people come in my little classroom to see that. Nice. So it just kind of caught on from there.
So here's the thing. So you set it up like a little coffee shop. Poetry happens in little coffee shops. That's kind of like the thing. Are you aware at this time still that there is a poetry scene going on, or that it's happening in
Rockford?
Or anywhere, let's say nationally. I don't even know if it was there a poetry scene in Rockford at the time. I don't even know.
Well, there was, and there was a man who I was his cooperating teacher when he was getting his master's degree, and he was with me for a whole year, and he was a professional spoken word artist.
His name?
Justin Sychek.
Nice.
And at the end of that very first year, I asked Justin, would you like to help me with Lit Up? And he said, I think that I will. So I didn't know if we were going to grow or we were not going to grow, but I went to one spoken word event, and it was at, like a little coffee shop that was attached to an old library here in Rockford. And there was probably 15 people or so there. That's the first experience because Justin was performing, and I just wanted to support him.
Interesting. I'm wondering, is that the old building over toward Midtown that friend of the show, Dawn DeVenti, told us about? The old library over that way. I wonder if that's the same building.
Oh, no. This one was at the library that's on State Street. That's a library still, but they also had like a little library coffee shop in there.
Oh, cool.
A little tiny room, no bigger pretty much than this room.
Cool. So would you say that Justin's influence was, and even at that time, was the plan to go spoken word at that point, or was it maybe Justin's influence with the group that kind of started moving some of the out loud literature toward spoken word type of feel?
Yeah, Justin, and still, is an absolutely phenomenal spoken word artist.
Yeah, definitely.
And he would present some of his spoken words to us every single Wednesday after school. The kids loved him, on top of the fact that he taught at West as well.
Oh, okay.
And so he was able to come, and the kids loved him. A man doing
building.
poetry, it was phenomenal, especially Justin, who he was the coolest man ever born, Right. And so the kids started kind of shaping how they were giving their poetry, based on what they were hearing from that.
So
is that a model?
Is that happening with 10 and 11-year-old kids, or are we talking now maybe we've progressed in a little bit? And
10, 11-year-old kids.
10 and 11-year-old kids are hearing. So what's cool about that, and you can roll your eyes now because I'm gonna channel a little bit something out of Rick Rubin's book. We've talked a lot about this year. Creative Act, a way of being. He talks a lot about the childlike mind and being able to go back to that sense of wonder and innocence where things are new. And it makes me feel so good to hear you talk about 10 and 11-year-old kids. Mind you, I'm saying we're pretending I'm someone that enjoys children. I really don't.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Well,
I gotta keep my edge. I gotta keep my edge.
Willow.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep my edge. But it makes me feel good that there were influences like you and Justin that were out there giving them the opportunity to do that. Now we've got one group that's in 7th grade, another group that's in 6th grade. It's growing. This is happening intramural, like after school now?
After school, Wednesday nights. So the kids that then became 7th graders and then became 8th graders still were coming to Lit Up. And so after that very first Lit Up cafe that we had, then the next year we had about maybe 25 kids to start the year. And they were choosing to stay after school to read and write, basically. And
beautiful.
By the end of that year, we had been introduced through Justin to Angela Hiss. And she came to watch one of our things because I thought it would be nice if we could maybe perform outside of this classroom. So she came, listened to one of our, after school meetings, and her first thing that she said was, "Did you write that stuff?" And I said, "Not a word of that have I written. That's all out of them." And so the end of that second year, she had us and opened up down in the Black Box at the Nordloff Theater, she invited us to come down and be special guests of the open mic.
She is a keystone figure in Rockford
No doubt.
poetry.
No doubt.
You come walking into the Black Box Theater with half a dozen little tykes.
20, well, and these are 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
Right.
And there was we probably had 25 at that time.
So 20. So I'm just picturing it. I've been in that Black Box Theater. I've won a slam down there. I've lost a slam down there to one of your lit ups. I'm going to say. Yeah. But anyway, and we'll talk to her in a little bit. But I could see that room. You go in there. So you've got 25, say 10 to 12-year-old kids in there, and they're all versed. See how I did that?
Oh, well done.
See? Beautiful.
See,
I did master.
Yeah.
WBOM radio should be proud.
Oh my God! Nobody can see eye rolls.
I'm just saying. So, they're out there. They're performing. Did any of them win a slam that?
So we didn't have any slams that night because we were the guests,
right.
And I had invited our Kappa dancers to actually come and be with us. And so the dance teacher and I collaborated. That's called the arts integration, yes. And so she had a spoken word that she had found, and they choreographed a dance to that they did down there too. So we had, 45 kids down there. So Lit Up kind of back then was more readers theater kind of. So we would do not a lot of individual poets. So we had 2 or 3 at a time. But they would present these poems that they've written and they collaborated with and they memorized as one person. So they would talk over the top of each other, and one would take a piece and another would take a piece. And so a lot of the kids got to be a part of this, because we were working in 2s and 3s.
Give me an idea as to what year this is.
So this is 2016, 17. So the end, like 17.
So the interesting thing about that, what's happening in the spoken word poetry community at this time is nationals are going to exactly what you're talking about. Are you aware now at this point of the spoken word scene at that time?
We watched and immersed. Yes, we immersed ourselves in videos from those very places, and high school kids that were competing, and I mean every single week the kids would come in and say, Beach, I found another video, let's watch this one.
Because that is about the time that the whole team, not the teams like we're talking like old poetic, what's the thing that our friend Chris was part of, Poetic Justice League of America type thing. Not like that. I'm talking about like what C.P. Mays and what they were doing at New Yorican Poets Cafe in New York, where they would put 2 or 3 poets together and each would take parts of a piece, is what you're talking about, is almost like composite improv theater with a little bit of a plan. Yeah.
So, and very well rehearsed.
That was super popular at that time. Yeah.
Well, and we didn't know.
Right.
So I mean, we were just getting things in.
That's what I'm getting at. Is you guys were topical and you were at the tip of the spear as far as the scene goes, and that's why I kept asking. But you didn't know you were progressing at the same rate as. Well, let's face it. At that time, New York was probably the biggest market in the country for spoken word poetry, and you guys here with your class of 6th or 7th grade, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids are emulating the tip of the spear.
And I can tell you that I did call a place in New York right as I was trying to get Lit Up going, and I just said, I know that you have this high school program, and do you have like anything that you could encourage us with or show us, or a pathway to go with this? And they said, well, we can sell you our packet that we give to other high schools, but we don't have anything for middle schools. And I said, no, thank you, we can do it ourselves.
So at this point, what they give to other high schools, you've got someone or a couple of kids from that initial group of 6th graders that have grown to be freshmen or sophomores or something in high school, and they're sticking with the program.
Yeah.
At this point.
So we got permission from our principal for freshmen and sophomores from our sister high school to be able to be allowed in the building after school so they could still come to Lit Up. And they were like my junior leaders, and they just came in and worked with me.
So let's make it clear, since I used to teach there, West at that time fed into Auburn High School, correct?
Right.
And so that's the high school you're talking about?
And West, the Kappa program.
Right.
middle school fed into the Auburn Kappa program as well. And so most of the kids went to Auburn because they were on that, creative and performing.
So you were pulling those kids back to continue to participate in Lit Up out West.
For the neurodivergent and ADHD people who are out there listening to the show, that I know they're out there, the ones that are like me, Kappa is, again, creative and performing arts program. I'm just throwing that out there because, we have a lot of, we've had a lot of neurodivergent ADHD
our poetry community
people.
Is rife with
that's
neurodivergent people.
Just kind of how it is. So
we're neurospicy.
So now at this point in the evolution of Lit Up, you've now the club has graduated out of middle school and is now I'm going to use this word, infiltrating the high school.
No, I want to back you up.
All right.
Because the next year, so we probably ended up with like 25 or so. So the next year, this would be 2018, I've been carrying multiple sclerosis in my body for many years.
Oh, okay.
And so I had to stop teaching full-time in the classroom. And the district allowed me to continue after school with my Lit Up program.
Beautiful.
And so these sixth graders that are now coming into this program never had me as a teacher.
Oh,
they were just coming in because they heard about what this program. So now we're talking 2018, 17, 18 here. And the first day of Lit Up that year, we had 65 kids show up. We just had no chairs. We didn't know what to do. And they continued until COVID hit. Stress is oppressive. It starts where my breath is. It compresses my chest, and I'm calm less and less. Sleep and stress are rivals at best. They compete for my complete attention. The descension into restlessness is relentless and deep. Stress is sleek, and it's stealth, a well-known thief of my health. It lives in my brain's shadows. I can't seem to hide because it knows just where to set up camp. I have learned, sometimes easily, sometimes with disgust, just whom I can and cannot trust, which is where the internal stress root grows. It just knows. Being stressed out is where I want to be. I want it completely out of me, but rather I'm stressed in. Many days I don't know where I end and stress begins. Just when I think I've dismissed the stress, it waltzes back in like an old taffeta dress that doesn't quite fit. No matter how hard I try to undress the stress, I just cannot seem to unzip it. Such a pretty, cloudy, confusing mess. It's easy to sing, let it go, but honestly, I really don't know how to not let it bother me anyway.
We'll use COVID as a line of demarcation. So tell me, when you had 60 people show up there, you're not teaching anymore, you're facilitating, directing the club. You have kids in there ranging from 10 years old all the way up to, say, do you have seniors yet at that point?
No. So I had 2 sophomores coming back.
Okay, so anywhere from 10 years old to 16 years old.
Yes.
And I have to interrupt it for a second. I'm going to ask, is there video of any of this? And is that available now?
So there is some video. We did put on a great big Lit Up production at the Nordloff the year between that. And it was just us. And we called it, it was Lit Up, I can't even remember. But it is on YouTube. Okay. And so you can look up Lit Up Nordloff Center, Rockford, Illinois, and that will come up the entire performance.
Beautiful.
And also the performance.
Can go find that right now.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Awesome.
And if they want to look up a little more about me on YouTube, there is Beaches Teaches, because I did write a lot of music for my classes and parts of speech stuff. And they would, if you're homeschooling or whatever you're doing, they would help you with that.
Cool. So that was the next thing I was going to say. So COVID happens.
Yes.
I don't know what happened to the schools here in Northern Illinois, but
we shut.
So Lit Up shut down for that.
Yes, but it didn't.
And so talk about that.
It was March 13th. Was it March 13th?
My birthday is March 20th, and it was and that was a Saturday. It was March 19th was a Friday. That was the day that they desegregate the lock-in started. The day before my birthday.
And I can tell you...
In our PS 205, though.
Well, we left and said goodbye to each other at spring break.
Right.
Yeah. And never
that was
came
March
back.
13th,
Yeah.
I think.
And we never came
because
back.
I remember that because I had REM's It's the End of the World as We Know It
Yes.
going in my classroom and through my head, and I think Mr. Archer across the hall was playing it out loud.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had these kids that now were given laptops, and they were all required to go to school online. And I had these lit up kids who would sit in front of a screen all day. And on Wednesdays, they would still come back to lit up on Zoom. And we would have these Zoom lit up meetings for years, for 2 years.
Perseverance.
Interesting.
Wow.
And they'd show up. After they sat all day in front of that screen, they would still show up.
Right.
So in the beginning of the show, I mentioned, and I'm going to call it one word, because to me it is one word. I said words matter. Words matter. Words matter. Okay? We're going to call it one word. I know you wrote a piece called Words Matter. I know that words mean a lot to you. I know that I wrote a piece called Words Matter.
Words Matter is our motto at Lit Up.
Well, your
but
T-shirt says on it.
Well, all of them do, but the kids in Lit Up chose that.
Interesting.
They came up with that. Words
That's
Matter.
cool.
Hashtag Words Matter. And we've just kept it. I mean, I said we're going to get t-shirts for the first time.
Right.
What should we have on the back of them? We took another big sticky and what should we have? And we came up with all kinds of things, and Words Matter was the winner of that.
Democracy working at its finest level.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when I started talking about smatter.
Word smatter.
Word
I said
smatter
that. I
was my
said that
thing.
to you.
Yeah.
I said that to you.
Okay,
Because
you said that to
yeah,
me.
because I said.
But I ran with it. I loved that.
The power of the pen. Sweet poet speaking, syntax spit, wordsmith, vocabulary priss, dialect, scientist, translating twist. X plus Y equals Z times 3 divided by ABC. Formula recipe, candy treat, non-binary declaration, independent contradiction, milk cream, guillotine in the cut, vampiric dream. Sweet tooth, lusty blood, honey raw, spicy hot plus. Lowest common denominator equals words. Consonant, adjective, noun, verb, homonym, contronym, synonym, antonym, mononym, put together rhyme, non-rhyme, scheme, on rhyme, in time, musical signature, rectified design time, positive, negative, mathematical equations, integer, superlative, decimal, fraction, standard deviation. Geometric placation, creative insemination, smooth designation, poetic license, writer, orator, MC, fighter, author, activist, artist, schizophrenic, scattered, lit up, future, the power of the pen, words matter. So we have some of, so I'm going to call them lit ups because I just like
They
that.
know
It's
that.
an affectionate name.
They know that.
Yeah, and I mean, it is what it is. We have 5 lit ups out in the hallway, and I'm going to bring them in one at a time. I got a couple of questions for them and stuff.
So let me tell you
Yeah.
before you bring them in.
Yeah.
These kids, all of these kids, started with me in 6th grade. And there are 4 of the 5 are seniors at Auburn High School, and one of them is at Rock Valley College.
All right,
And
yeah, so we're going to go
cool.
through. We'll go through a little bio for each one of them, and try to do that individually. So I'm going to try to keep the noise down for you listeners in the car. So if you hear a little bang or something like that, blame James Hamilton. Hashtag James Hamilton. Come out, send me a direct message, and tell me I made too much noise when I was dragging these kids in out of the hall. And now we have Aoife.
Hi, I'm Aoife.
Hi, Eva.
Welcome aboard.
Hi. So we were talking, Lori has been going through the history of Lit Up and talking. So a little bit, that I know about you, you're a senior at Auburn High School.
Yeah.
I know that.
Hey, Knights.
Hey,
Go Knights.
Something I didn't know, but you are also a fellow slam winner at the Rockford Certified Slam.
Yes.
So you and I have both done that. As worth a fist bump there.
I've done it too. It was a cold and lonely January night. I managed to pull off a victory because nobody showed up.
How many people were there that night?
Like 3 or 4.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, but good for you, Paul.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
win's a win.
awesome. Yeah, thanks.
This is what we've been saying. The only one actually who picked on him, I think, was Luke Welch, right? But that's
Yeah.
kind of what he does.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he
all
picks
good.
on you. Yeah.
He's my brother.
So I got a couple of questions. I have a couple. I'm in the presence of English teachers
I
today.
mean, words matter, James.
Words matter. And you know, my granny is 95. She was published. She's English, and she would do the same thing. She would have probably hit me. So how long have you been part of Lit Up?
I joined Lit Up in 6th grade, but when COVID hit, I kind of fell out of contact with everyone, and then I joined back up my freshman year of high school.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. I heard you read your poetry today, and it was fantastic. I love it. I can tell that I call her coach because I send her unfinished work still today. And she helps me out
I
immensely.
look forward to that.
Well, and you're not the only one. She's helping out other Murder of Poets members.
Well, Versed alumni.
And Versed alumni. There's a reason I call her coach.
Yeah, most definitely. So the skills that you learned in Lit Up, do you plan on taking those out into life and doing something in the literary world, or what are your plans?
I don't plan to do any like literature outside of Lit Up. I want to be a marine biologist in the future, but I do plan to stay in Lit Up as I get older and even when I'm in college.
Yeah, baby.
So is it like
baby.
So let me ask you this. So the way that we just went through the years and how this thing kind of grew from a 6th grade English teacher with which I guess you started when you were in 6th grade, right?
But I was
Yeah,
never her
yeah.
teacher.
Wow.
Yeah, she was my
Which is
teacher.
interesting.
That's
yeah.
cool too. So that's really cool.
So, but you came up in there. So this is something that arguably you've been doing for more than like half your life, right? So when you say you want to be part of it growing up, do you see yourself like maybe being a mentor to younger people when they come into the program and help keep this thing going, legacy type of person, or
Yeah.
talk about that?
Definitely. I've always kind of been interested in like words, and like regular English classes like weren't for me. I always wanted to test like something harder. So I've done honors and I've done AP, and I would definitely love to help younger people who are trying to get into poetry.
And can I chime in here? Because
give me
the
some.
teacher in me can't help it, Aoife. It's not an either or. You don't have to choose between being a marine biologist and being a poet. There's some very famous marine biologists who are also authors and writers. So keep that in mind. And I'm thinking of our own museum head here. Burpee Versecraft is an open mic here, and the executive director,
And Furlet.
Ann Furlet, is, a Renaissance woman, but she does a lot, and she hasn't chosen between her careers. She's a paleontologist, she's a museum director, a punk fan. Anyway, so I'm just saying, you don't have to choose. You can be a creative and a professional person and do it all.
Right.
You can do it all.
I think a part
do.
of having Lit Up, and the reason why those that have stayed is because we have a motto in Lit Up that what happens in Lit Up stays in Lit Up. So it is incredibly important to me that is a safe space for these kids to come and share their poetry and share their words, and if they want to share it out, then they can. But that's very safe. And Aoife can attest to that we talk about things in there and we share poetry that we don't want to share with anyone else except for us.
Miss Beach is like a second mom.
Oh,
She's so sweet.
That's great. So let me ask you this: if you could sum it up in a couple of quick sentences, what has Lit Up meant to you?
Lit Up to me is like very personal. It's kind of tight knit. We're not like a huge group, so we're kind of almost like a family. We talk to each other about like our lives and everything, and we're just very close.
You have parties, right?
Yes.
oh, do we have parties?
Yeah. I heard something about painting rocks. I don't get that.
Yeah.
Pizza. I know pizza's involved.
Oh, there's pizza.
We have different forms of creativity.
We have parties, so a couple parties a year, and we have one after the holidays, and I have literally gone out and gotten restaurants to come in and donate food to us. And one time we had
Olive Garden.
We had Olive Garden.
I love Olive
Just
Garden.
gave us food. I went to that cupcake place,
Yeah.
and they gave us something. So I have no qualms about saying please, and then I'll say thank you. You know, if they do it. But we have some never-ending parties. Some of them are almost sleepovers.
We wish.
Cool.
We need a sleepover.
Cool. Lori, do you have any? Do you have a quick story about Aoife that you can remember for Verse listeners?
Well, I have party stories, but I do remember Aoife is very petite woman, and she packs a punch with her poetry. And I remember,
Definitely.
First hearing her and thinking, what just came out of that girl?
Yeah.
And it's only grown, for sure.
A desire. How am I supposed to move when all I have are my wishes keeping me afloat? Wishing means disappointment at the next stop, but still wishing the train will stop. What if when I get there, my beam of light will crack at the sight of sadness? What if when I get there, it's not everything I dreamed, fiend, wanted it so desperately to be? What will I do then? What if my hope of escaping is just running to another fire? What if I'm the fire? What if I'm always burning and can never escape myself? Why couldn't I have been born as a little green leaf instead of a book of wishes? I wonder what it's like to never wish, to just have. I wonder what it's like to want to hold on to life so dearly you amputate your leg to survive. What if I just feel like a star in the sky? So far away, observing everyone, every star. I wonder when it's my turn to feel everlasting warmth from the sun. I wonder if I will ever be enough.
It's without a doubt every time I hear Aoife perform, I cry without form. And that's become a lit up thing to see who can make Beach cry quicker. And the older I get, the more I cry, it seems like. But we have a lot of memories together, Aoife and I. And some of it is closed session, and some of it is our last party that we had, everybody wore pajamas. So we decided that we were going to wear jammies, and she and her boyfriend wore matching jammies, and we had karaoke, beachy-okie in the house. Nice. And I just remember Aoife from being so quiet to not so much anymore.
Wow.
You have your feet under you now.
So let me tell you the thing that I do for every guest. So when you knew you were going to be on the radio, there was something that had to go through your head or something you were thinking about. You said, or maybe when you were a little girl, you said, if I ever get on the radio, I'm going to say this. We call it the last word, so the time is yours. Anything you want to say, anything goes. This is your chance to just tell Verse listeners, the interwebs, the entire world, what Aoife wants them to know.
I think my main thing is treat people how you want to be treated.
Perfect.
Be kind.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Aoife, for coming in and representing Lit Up. You did not make Miss Beach cry, so I have not won the pool yet.
I think I made her shed one
We're
tear.
gonna have to lay that out.
You need to ask them for the memory, not me, because they're.
There is more to come on Verse for sure.
Thank you, Aoife.
Thank you so much.
Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss, and I believe that's the truth. And I don't mean shield me and protect me from the sight. Since I'm aware, I might as well parade myself with the sights in front of my eyes, and the deep truth between the cracks of the bars, and the cars with candy but no heat. Kids with no chair to take a seat. Kids with no chair to even take a seat. People will enjoy a fast meal and slowly leave traces of the remained. Congratulations, climate changed. And you'll still throw your garbage on the ground like it never mattered anyways. Yeah, I want to make a change, but sometimes I just want to run away. High morale keeps me afraid, but being like everyone else keeps me from turning away. I don't think I was meant to be. maybe meant to form, but not meant to be here. I'm told I'm so strong, but am I really? Because I've lost my will to keep going a while ago. Not that it's noticeable, just have to keep going forward, but as an empty shell. I believe my soul could flourish somewhere else, but I'm here. Fagged, frazzled, feeble, whatever you want to call me, but I've been missing for a while in this ignorance is bliss world.
There we go. There's Brindley. Brindley, who's now a published author.
Published author.
I was going to talk about that a little bit.
Please.
Yeah, we've got that there. Hi, Brindley.
Hello.
We call her Lil B.
Lil B.
And by we, I
Lil
mean
B.
me.
Yep. I think we're good. All right. So you are a senior at Auburn High School.
Yes.
Yep. And you were just published in Poetry 815.
Yes.
Congratulations.
2
How does
poems.
that feel?
I feel like it feels exciting because that was my second book that I was published in, and I'm working on a third one right now.
So
so-
tell us, what was
So
the
whoa,
first?
whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
So you were second one you were published. Was the first one an anthology, or was it one? Or did you do it?
I'm not. I think it was an anthology. I'm not sure. Like the exact name for it, but the title of the book is called Rockford Jive, and it's
Okay.
done by the Rockford's Writers Guild.
Nice.
And it was like a competition, and I ended up winning first place and got a cash prize for it. So
Beautiful.
Wow. How much does something like that pay?
I think it was like 150.
You
What?
did.
That's
150 bucks.
decent.
But tell them
For
because of
poetry.
that, what's going to happen now? Because you got in there, where is your poetry going?
I had another offer, and there's different like steps to it. I'm in like the third step, and it's like a national thing.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So was
Brindley.
it the Writers Guild that sent you there?
I'm not sure because they had it mailed me like big envelope, so I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard of it before.
You know, the thing that I have found it safe, when someone gives you $150 and wants to send you somewhere nationally, just go. Just go with it. You'll be fine. Most of the time, it's not like, I know when we grow up, we're not supposed to get in the van when they offer us candy.